Heels in the Air wants to know, can they tell sequential the order of the murders? Can they tell who's first, second, third, do you think?
Yeah. One thing that is kind of fascinating about this goes back to DNA, and I've talked about this on a couple of platforms. If you think about the weapon, which they're saying is an edged weapon, and think about the victims, and one of the things people always ask is what they want to know about sequencing. What sequence did this occur in, and this sort of thing. So, and that's very hard to tell. But when you think about DNA, if you have a single weapon and it is the only weapon involved, let's just say you start off with victim. Let's not say this case. Let's just say another case where you have 4 victims. You got A, B, C, and D. A is being the first victim.
Okay.
They will have the least amount of DNA, depositional DNA. Okay. Matter of fact, it'll probably singularly be their own, or if the perpetrator cut themselves, they could introduce their DNA. You got commingling with A and perp. Then you go to B. So B, when they are attacked, A's DNA is essentially deposited into B, and so forth and so on until you get to D. So you'll have a commingling at the end, and that's one of the things that makes this so very complicated and complex from these injuries, is that if you're looking for sequencing, logic would dictate that the person that has, if the bodies were not moved or manipulated, if they were just left in one spot. So if you leave the bodies in one spot, the last victim would have the most DNA that could potentially be deposited. And it's almost an inoculation with other people's DNA as you move down the line and introducing. And then you come into this realm of potential for the perpetrator to have sustained some type of injury where they have bled out into these injuries and commingled their blood. And I've had some people ask me, is it possible? Yeah. Oh yeah, it's possible. Particularly with a frenzied attack, even with a hilt guard, many times you'll have individuals that will cut themselves, the perpetrators will. And hang on a second.
Go to Websleuths chat and see the rest of this interview. I mean, it's really, really interesting. And I love Joseph Scott Morgan. I think you probably, if you watched Nancy Grace, you've seen him on there several times. So thank you, Mr. Morgan.